Regain your financial freedom by grabbing the book 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, an Amazon bestseller written by none other than Dr. Boyce Watkins. Grab the book now. Also, heating up summer 2023, B1 the movie, starring Dr. Claude Anderson, Madam President, and Riza Islam. Atlanta, Georgia, get ready. The All-Black National Convention is coming your way October 2023. We had the privilege of attending an All-Black National Convention. It was an absolutely life-changing experience. To get a free Dr. Boyce Watkins Black Business School training on how to make money without working, text the word STOCK to 31996. First off, hope you had a good weekend. Hope everybody had a good weekend out there, right? Because this shit came across my way, and I was like, man, we ain't got no choice but to talk about it here on this platform. This is what we do. So Jess Hilarious was involved in a situation and a going back and forth with a person by the name of Ts Madison. Oh, God, are you familiar with Ts Madison?
Never heard of him or her.
Sure you haven't heard of the person, right? They're a transgender woman, and they were going back and forth with Jess Hilarious about, one, not owning womanhood, not owning the rights to have periods, not owning the rights to just say, because you're a biological woman, that you deserve all women's rights.
Right.
Very, very touchy situation, given as though a lot of these individuals who decide to choose to change their gender from one to another, at one point or another, naturally was the opposite of what they choose to be now.
Right.
So Jess Hilarious went on a scathing rant on her social media platform. She went all the way in, and it caused a lot of heat, as I'm sure you would assume. I'm going to play the clip, and I want to get your thoughts and everyone else's. Let's go.
Ooh. Who the is going to stand up for us? Who the stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women, biological women, women who were born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? What's the only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Stop talking out your fucking ass. Wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We the only one that fucking bleed, honey. We the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people. We make y'all. Y'all come from us. You can't be us. You will never. You're chasing something you'll never, ever get. You'll never be that. What the fuck is going to say?
You think you would assume that got a lot of attention? I want to read something else because there was another individual by the name of, let me get this up real quick.
Okay.
Oh, God. Angelica Ross. Have you ever heard of Angelica Ross?
No, sir.
Neither have I. Well, they went in on Jess Hilarious as well. They said, this trans girls, and we're going to put this up on the screen so you guys can read it as well.
Yep.
The trans girls are going to show Jess a new way to bleed. We call it reading for blood. And I promise you, girls, don't want no parts of this. I've been trying to keep the girls calm, but it's only so much you could do. And they put up an old clip of Jess Hilarious when she used to do her clips when her hair was in a ponytail on top of her head. And it says, cis women, you know that's really a man, right? The cis woman. I don't know what the fuck cis woman is.
Never heard of it.
I never even heard of that.
Right.
So then she said, I'm trying to tell y'all, stop playing with the girls. She went on to say one more thing I read. She said, it always an issue when trans girls get a lick in. No, we want everybody to calm down. Flame was iconic for getting a lick in for the girls on Comic View when Cheryl Underwood was hosting, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's, first I want to start off and just say this, man. Like, when you, it's supposed to call it 4:30 anyway, but when you look at, like, how a baby, was formed, man, I think it's almost like miraculous how the sperm has to swim and, so many sperms come out, but only one or whatever the case may be makes it, and then it has to develop. Because sometimes you can have something, I forget the actual name of it, but you can have a baby, but you can have a pregnancy, but actually not form into an actual baby. People have miscarriages all the time because of this, right? Ectopic pregnancy, things like that. But one thing we know for sure, right? And this, I gotta approach it this way, right? First, is that you start off in the fallopian tubes or whatever, and you go either two ways. You're a male or you're a female, right? When you come out. When I came out, I was a male. You came out, you was a male. So people on here listening, you came out, you was a male or a female, right? Now, you want to change just because, in my opinion, you want to change your sex, right? Doesn't make you. If I wanted to turn into a female, it's nothing that could actually turn me into a female because I was born a male. I could do all the stuff or whatever they do and act like that, but I'm not really that. And I think the lines have been blurred through legislation, politicians and stuff like that, putting all these different things in place, the bathroom things, where you can go in any bathroom. And there's no hate against anybody that may be different. I don't hate anybody. I would never disrespect anybody like that. But I just think that you were born a certain way. That's what you are. Now, if you want to be something else, that's an inner issue that has to be dealt with, I think. And as far as Jess Hilarious, see, she just gave us the old school approach. She gave us the approach from 1990 that you say now people want to cancel you. That's the approach she just gave us. She said, fuck all the bullshit. I'm going to tell you how it really is. Right. We kind of got to, everybody got to, step on this and step on that because they scared. But she said, nah, I'm not scared. I'm keeping it real. I bleed once a month. I'm a real woman. And I agree with that. And not only that, I agree with the science. It says what it says. Either you're one or the other. If you want to try to change it, I don't know how that shit works, bro.
The fickle part about this whole situation is the hypocrisy behind it, right? Because we all say we have freedom of speech, freedom to do what we want. People are free to do what they want. We clearly see that now.
Right.
But if people oppose that feeling or people don't agree with that feeling, now they're automatically wrong. There is no other side. There is no, okay, I could do what I want to do, and you could feel however you want to feel about it because this is why we have freedom of speech. We can feel however we want to feel and move however we want to move, but at the end of the day, ain't nobody going to judge, nobody ain't going to move. We ain't going to go and try to kill you because you're this or do this because you're that or whatever the case may be. But when it comes to this type of community right here, it seems as though they want to be accepted, they want to have rights, they want to have it all, and you're not allowed to think anything about it. Like black people aren't judged on a daily, like dogs aren't judged on a daily, like athletes aren't judged on a daily.
Right.
We're all judged on a daily. But you think that you're free and clear of being judged at all because you were this victim for so long, which I believe is absolute nonsense. I have no problem with anybody in their choice. If you want to walk around with a dress, by all means, as an adult,
right,
do your thing. If you want to walk around with a fade and say you a man, if you were naturally born a woman, if you're an adult, do your thing. I ain't got nothing against it. But when you start talking about rights and legislation, and you start talking about medical things within hospitals and things that women may need as opposed to what a man may need, it starts getting kind of fucked up. And what are women supposed to do in this situation? It's not only women. Men are dealing with the same thing on the opposite side. But we're not talking about right now. We're talking about this, right? But it's happening on the other side, too. Don't get it twisted like a motherfucker. I just don't. I feel like it's a crazy game that's being played right now. Like, you wanted to dress however you wanted to dress. You wanted to call yourself however you wanted to call yourself. But now you are trying to strip away science.
Right.
You're trying to strip away science. You're trying to strip away a menstrual cycle saying that you have. And why would you want rights to that? You want rights to that? It's oh, man.
I mean, you whenever you want to talk about a creation, whether you talk about a God, God created this, we self-created, whatever the case may be. You got male and female, right? That's what you got. And male and female come together and they procreate and they make more life. And that's going to be a male or female. Though that male and female comes together again, they want to, have intercourse. You create another male or female. That's just the way it's been for however long we've been on Earth. And I don't see it ever changing. But like you said, if you want to go out and, exercise your rights to be whatever you want to be, you can act like you're that, but scientifically, you are what you are. And should you be able to get... Now, answer the question, is she fighting? Does she want to be classified as a woman? The one that changed her sex? Is this what the whole thing is really about? Or
I think it's deeper than that. She's already classified as a woman. They gave her the right
They gave her a classification. Right.
She is a woman, technically, according to law. She is
right, okay.
According to law.
So
science,
that's
the law, yeah.
Right. Perfectly. You said it perfectly. You got to separate law and science. Yeah, law says you're a woman, but that's why Jess Hilarious said, you're not bleeding like me. You're not a biological woman, or you're not a biological man. That's just what it is. Until that changes, we can have that conversation then. But that's just what it is.
You know, I hate that this conversation is going to be taken and people are going to say, "Oh, you're scared, you're phobic, or you don't like it, you hate," which is so opposite of what's really going on.
Right.
We see somebody different than us walking down the street. Ain't nobody worried about them.
No.
Keeping it moving. I'm gonna open the door for everybody involved. I let the ladies go first.
Yep.
Don't matter. This is how I was raised, how we move. Don't matter what you are, what you look like, whatever the case, this is how we move.
Yeah.
So nobody's judging anybody out here. If you got a relationship with the same sex, by all means, do you. But we're not allowed to have these type of conversations, and some aren't allowed to get uncomfortable in these conversations without automatically assuming somebody's scared or somebody hates or somebody dislikes. And the fact that the law and the fact that government is allowing it to happen, they are putting things in place to where if you even say things like this now, we talk about Jess Hilarious and whether or not she'll be back on the Breakfast Club, because although she was phenomenal on the Breakfast Club, so we see, because we ain't really watched the shit, she's on there often, will she be back? Because this may rub some corporate sponsors the wrong way. And as much as we protect black women and we protect this and we do all this out here on this social media shit, when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, are we going to just push her away because she said some shit that was real on her heart? We'll see.
Yeah, I just feel like, man, that everybody should have a right to their opinion. And I don't feel like people should be canceled, over that. You know, it's the reason why it's a freedom of speech. If a certain group don't want to deal with you, because Gucci puts out, a black monkey bag or something like that, and black people don't want to deal with Adidas, Gucci, fine. We got the right to. If people don't want to deal with Jess Hilarious because she said that, fine. If people don't want to deal with the other person because it is, fine. I think it's fine. But to talk about wholesale, like, oh, we got to go behind and cancel her. Nah, I don't agree with none of that, man. That's her opinion. Just like it's the other person's opinion.
Ts Madison, yeah.
Right. And we just have opinions and we talk. Hopefully they could come to some type of, maybe sit down and have a conversation. That ain't going to change, what you are biologically, but you can still have a conversation and talk and maybe come to a solution. Like, all right, man, we had a, this, that, and the third, but we cool now. Who knows? Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. As far as the Breakfast Club, it all depends. You know how that go with that, man. It could be up in the air. It just depends on the backlash, I think. Mm-hmm. Is it a one-day thing where people are going to forget about it, or is it going to continue on, and she's going to start losing sponsors and things like that? Then I think the Breakfast Club definitely step back if that's the case.
Do you think that she had a point when she said that who's going to protect us? I think that was when she said that kind of spoke volumes to me. I don't know why, but who's going to protect us? And we hear that often, and a lot of people abuse that term as well. But what do you think about that? Do you think that women as a whole, let's just talk about humanity as a whole.
Right.
Natural born men, natural born women, black men, black women, whatever the case, right? Do you think that we aren't protected or they're not protected?
Yeah, in certain instances, yeah. Women over history have definitely been oppressed. They ain't have like a lot of the same rights as men for a long, long time. Yeah. They had to fight in the workplace to get, equal pay and a lot of that stuff. And but it ain't really been the black men that have been doing that though, honestly. Let's be real. Maybe now so, but it never been us, that's done that. 'Cause we ain't never had no power to do anything to anybody, But yeah, I would say so. But I would say that now more so, the playing fields are being more even with the woman. I don't think it's exactly even right now, but then you got to break it down into different subcategory, because then it's like woman, then it's black woman, and then it's black man, this and that. So it's different things, and people act like they, like you said, want to protect the black woman when it comes to certain things, but when shit like this comes up, when there's another group of people that got some power that could really do some shit, people gonna fall back and be scared to death. Yeah. But if it was somebody else or something like that, oh, woman, this, that, and the third, because they know that group ain't got no power to exercise nothing. They know this group got power to exercise some shit if shit go crazy. Mm-hmm. So they ain't gonna want to fight, in my opinion, and protect.
We'll see. It's been on for a few days now. I don't think they said anything today.
Right.
We'll see what happens in the upcoming days, and we'll see if opportunities get taken away from her, because up until then, she was on BET. She was Breakfast Club.
I like her perspective, man. I ain't gonna lie. I like the rawness. I never really saw too much of her comedian work, honestly. Mm-hmm. But just her as like a commentator, hip hop commentator, it's dope.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that raw approach. I gotta be real.
Yeah, so do I.
You know?
I enjoy it. I think that she really built something positive for herself.
Yep.
Coming from Baltimore and starting where she started to kind of build up to where she's at when you look at something.
While everyone is in an uproar about who can bleed and who can't, men have become so obsessed with women that they want to turn into one. And I find it quite flattering that womanhood seems so great to you guys. Y'all know me, you may not like what I gotta say, but I'm gonna say it anyways. In recent conversation, there's been a lot of uproar between trans women and real women. In my opinion, I think the most misogynistic thing that a man can do is reject his biology as a man and go into women-dominated spaces telling other women how he's a better woman than them because it's based off of his feelings of how he perceives a woman to be, while walking in society emulating what he believes a woman looks like by replicating other women. When we're discussing womanhood, I cannot go to another woman and ask her what it feels like to be a woman, because being a woman is not a feeling. However, being a woman, I absolutely am subjected to my reproductive organs that identify me as a woman. And saying that doesn't mean that I'm less than a woman. It just means that that is the beginning of my woman origin and my woman experience. And for the women who can't have a baby, we still recognize those women as women because they do have the reproductive organs to do so. However, we also understand that something is medically wrong with them. I will give credence to the fact that women are not the only people who have a period if we're identifying them that way, because non-binary people or trans men actually can also have a period, but at the basis of it, we call those biological women. However, when you're talking about trans women, we understand that that is something that biologically impossible you cannot do. The power struggle here that comes into play is when there is a very small minority of people imposing onto a larger group of people that are telling them what they would like to be called, how they would like to be treated, how they would like to be pronounced, and how they would like to be identified, but then you're imposing terminology onto them that they have yet to accept. So I must appease your feelings calling you by the pronouns that you identify with as, because you have chosen to make this decision about putting on a wig and putting on nails and putting on a dress. However, when I tell you I reject terms like birthing person or breastfeeder or real woman or biological woman or cisgendered woman, at this point then I should just understand and accept it because science says so. But science also says that the basis of your DNA, you are biologically a male. So why are we not listening to science all the way across the board? Seems a little hypocritical to me. And since everyone has such an issue with understanding Jess Hilarious, let me go ahead and put my cape on, because I think I could break it down for you a little bit more. It's very disingenuous for you to overshadow that woman's feelings in regards to her womanhood when she actually has given birth to a baby, which biologically that does make her a woman. However, you decided to discuss her looks and says that she looks like a trans person, while you're also attempting to advocate for trans people. It's giving inherent transphobia. Also, to resurface the interview where she's relaying her experience of a man DMing her thinking that she was a trans woman to have sex with her probably offended her because she's an actual woman, and it should be more of a slight to trans people considering the fact that that person has a fetish and just wanted to sexualize you and use you as an inanimate object. As a black woman, we have to be extremely mindful of how we attach ourselves to other intersectional groups when it comes to their issues, because we're always the first to remind people nobody respects us and nobody protects us, but we're the first to jump into the line of fire when other people need a defense. So here's a few things to remember when you're talking allyship. They're always present when it's time to give the tea or bash heterosexual men and amplify any bad experience that we've had in regards to our relationship issues. But anytime it's time to help these children and provide for them or be a better role model or even your protection, they are nowhere to be found. Not saying that there's an agenda, but I will say for a very small group of people who seem to not have any effect on anybody, when their issues come up in conversation, they're making a huge ruckus, and their representation comes at the basis of overshadowing other marginalized people.